Hello and welcome back to the Hayden Show. With you once again, your temporary stand-in host because someone decided to go halfway through the Loki podcast review. Go, don't think I'll be able to sit for the second one, so I'm gonna step in and take the reins as usual. Anyway, yes, obviously today we're continuing with our Marvel deep dive into the live-action pilots, as she likes to say. Because we're going to be talking. Well, I'm going to be talking about Hawkeye. Actually, the more Christmas themed, more family kind of friendly type one, because Christmas, fun, family stuff. Where families usually argue. Christmas. Anyway, I obviously have her notes that she sent me. Either way, whatever she says, I'm going to be biased against it entirely. Because I love Hawkeye. Okay, Ronin, Hawkeye. I would have got the action figure in here, but it's too far. And I'm not that energetic to go walk and get it. Too far. Anyway, okay, let's go for a note, shall we? So, Hawkeye introduces us to Kate Bishop, one of the best new characters the MCU has produced. She's a fun addition, and we'll have some excellent chemistry with Clint as the series goes on. Agreed, very much agreed. If you obviously, I've read a couple of Hawkeye comics that are focused on Bishop instead of Clint, and they are pretty fun to read into. So I agree, and obviously seeing her in the MCU live action as Haley Steinfeld is great. Obviously, we enjoyed her in Bumblebee. So her getting cast as Hawkeye 2, because technically speaking, we already have a Hawkeye at the moment. It's not till the finale she becomes just Hawkeye because the other one gives up. For now, I'm just going to call her Hawkeye .2. So it's great to see her in live action, obviously portrayed by a great actress. The interesting where we see the young Kate in the Battle of New York is amazing, as we get to see the consequences of an invasion, and seeing Hawkeye save Kate and inevitably inspiring her is great. Yeah, because obviously it starts off in 2012, just like Loki did. But unlike Loki, this is the main timeline 2012, not the fucked up timeline 2012. So, we get to see an actual loving, happy family. Yeah, obviously dad and mum are kind of bickering. Classic dad and mum, alright. Clearly on the brink of a divorce. Classic dad and mum, alright. And obviously we get these little hints, obviously, of something's going on. Obviously we see stuff fly past the window and it's like, was that a Chitauri? Nah. And then it starts going to shit, and then you see obviously a massive hole in the fucking apartment. Outside you see the Battle of New York taking place. You obviously see one of the Chitauri go after Kate, but she gets saved by an arrow, because on the roof is obviously Hawkeye battling his way for the Chitauri, and she goes, you know what? I'm into that. Because obviously then at the funeral, you get her to go, I need a bow. Imagine if Hulk was the one that saved her. She would have gone, get me some gamma ray right now. But yeah, obviously that's a great way to start off the show, because obviously it introduces Kate and reintroduces the Battle of New York to show you the damage that was caused, before obviously later on we get a more fun take on that, which I'll get to in a bit. Obviously then you get a title sequence. Obviously unlike all the other ones, because the other ones don't really have a title sequence, but in the sort of vein of, like I said, the Netflix type ones, but this does, and I really enjoyed it, and so did she, because obviously it shows Kate's progression from basically the funeral to where we see her in the present day, because we get to see her skills in archery, fencing, gymnastics, and martial arts. To obviously subtly show the skills she's going to have throughout the series. And obviously then we cut into the present with the Rogers musical. The more fun take on the Battle of New York, even though Ant-Man's involved, but he wasn't even in there. But yeah, I love Rogers' musical. It's so fun. Obviously, I do love that. Which one is it? Is it the finale that we get the end credit? Yeah, it is the end credit scene, which is just the full musical, which is just great. It's fun to watch. But obviously, you get the depression side of Hawkeye seeing this go down, and obviously seeing everything he's lost. Obviously, the trauma that put him through. Obviously, because at this point now he's actually deaf, so he has an hearing aid. Obviously, which his daughter subtly says, "Oh, you turn it down." He's like, "What'd you say? Sorry." So yeah, obviously you get to see obviously how this is sort of traumatizing him. Obviously, you get to see someone pretend to be Nat, and Nat traumatizes even more following her death in Endgame. Which obviously makes him go to the toilet where he sees that's a bit. It's like Thanos was right on the toilet, and that guy weirdly wants a selfie. Very persistent this guy is, even though it's not the right time. Washing his hands is now a better time for it. But obviously, then you get to see that sort of effect. Obviously, how this is fully on him with the fact that he goes outside and kind of has a little panic attack, which is something we get to see a bit more as the show goes along. Because obviously, he's still with the fallout of everything that's happened so far and how that's affected him, which is an interesting thing to see because we've seen that in obviously not really Loki, but obviously in more of WandaVision and Falcon the Winter Soldier, obviously how that's all affected them. Because essentially this three series are basically like we've lost someone and we're gonna either build up to a new character or we're gonna go crazy, or go crazy while building up to a new character, or introduce characters that are crazy. The Death Bunch. In Hawkeye's case, actual death. What else we got? I basically said that without even reading the notes. She basically said that. The trauma, obviously, with Nat losing Nat, and obviously the battles. Obviously, I literally just don't know. I didn't even read the note. That's off the knocking. And obviously, she talks about Echo, but I'm not gonna get too much into that because that's a character we don't know yet. Obviously, we also have Jack, obviously the fiance of Kate's mom, who's very funny. What's his comic actual name? I know he's like a villain, isn't he, in the comics? He's like a villainous like fencing character. What's his fucking name? I'm gonna Google that. Hawkeye Jack. So in the comic, Swordsman, that's it. Makes sense. He wants a Hawkeye sword. So yeah, Jack is funny. Obviously, you only get brief amount of him in this, and I think personally, it's the finale when he gets like peak hilarious, and surprisingly a decent character. But yeah, so he's quite funny in this. He's also quite serious at times. Obviously, when he's kind of like pointing things at obviously he's like obviously is it his uncle? About the fact that one day he'll get inheritance from basically to afford some of this stuff, and then obviously with that death, you're just like, okay, did he kill him? So you get these sort of things there, while also being this fun character. So basically, he is kind of Marvel at the time. Like he's dark, but he's humorous as well, and it works. It blends well. What else we got here? Apparently, Kate would make a good John Wick in that suit. True. Obviously, you get that funny moment, obviously, when she's talking to obviously the uncle, and he's like, I never look good in a suit. Especially not that good. Okay, Lucky the dog is adorable, and if anything happens to him, I will kill everyone in this room. But I'm the only person in this shit. Well, if you don't hear from me after this video, it means I'm dead. But yeah, I agree. Obviously, Lucky the pizza dog is perfect. Obviously, the poor thing's only obviously got one eye, and it's adorable. He's an adorable dog that loves pizza. So it's kind of the dog I would want in my life. Like the two of us would like fit so perfectly. We'd gel so easily. Just over a slice of pizza. Kate wearing the Ronin outfit is definitely a clever way of getting Clint out of his retirement, since he's still dealing with the trauma he dealt with during the snap and the violence he caused as Ronin. Because obviously we get that little flashback scene where we see him kill, I can't remember the actor's name, but he's obviously the guy who played Scorpion in the Mortal Kombat reboot, and was also in the Wolverine as the dad. Obviously we get to see obviously him killing him. Obviously, hey, that's still traumatizing him for the fact that Ronin was the dark part of his life that he wanted to get away from. That's why he's being more of his kids now. and trying to be a happy dad at Christmas. So yeah. Okay. She says this is generally her favorite pilot. Of obviously, well, apart from fucking hell, I actually scrolled down and saw a rating. This is her favorite pilot. But I'll get into what's still her favorite pilot soon. Fucking hell, I did not think that. Even I haven't gone that high in my rating for it. I mean, I've gone high, but not that high. For me, it's like midway through the series where it gets to that point. Like the first three are like very high, but not that high. I mean, I think like Loki, the exact same, and then the last 3 episodes. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ. Okay. It's amazing to see Clint finally get the spotlight that he deserves since his introduction. He was only a short part of 4, was sidetracked as a mind control gun in first Avengers movie, to the big fight, and never really been given that much attention in later films. I think he got a fair bit of attention in Age of Ultron, because obviously he's the one that was pushing Wanda and Pietro to actually be good. So I think he got a bit more say in that. I think Civil War took a step back until the back end of the movie, just for the big airport battle mainly. Obviously Infinity War he wasn't part of, and Endgame was a bit more of a big part of. So I'd say Endgame and Age of Ultron were his bigger, more present roles, where the rest of it was a bit more behind the scenes. Obviously this is actual series, which obviously yes he's sharing with Kate, but it's still kind of more about him. And obviously here we get to see him in all his glory, and Kate really helps him to shine. Okay. I agree with a lot of what you've said. I'm still shocked that that's your rating for fucking hell. Oh, you're making me rethink my mind frame of this show. I mean, obviously you saw my Instagram post at the start of the year of my top 10 TV shows. This was quite high, but I think it was like just below the 10 out of 10 ones. But it was still fucking really high. Jesus Christ. I might have to rethink. Then again, we are actually gonna. Obviously, we've done all the Marvel shows so far in terms of podcasts. Obviously, a full-length review. This is the only one we haven't done, but we'll get to that. Well, I'll explain when we get to that later on. So I might, when I rewatch it, I might actually rethink my mindset of it. It's high, but fuck me, I didn't think you'd go that high for it. Okay. But yeah, this was a show that I really wanted to happen. I've always wanted Hawkeye to get the spotlight, and as a show, it outshines for me personally another character that took forever to get the spotlight, which is Black Widow. I think as a show, it outshines that movie. Just because everything falls into place properly. Yes, both have great characters and great sort of connections with the characters. Like the acting is perfect, but with Black Widow, it fucked up on the villainous side. Whereas Hawkeye did a good job of keeping it very mysterious, and when the reveal does happen, it's not it's just a character's mute. Oh, what the fuck? Like, what's the whole point of like having all these theories? Like that could be Hawkeye or someone. Wait, it's just gonna be someone who's mute. They're Deadpool fucking Taskmaster in that film. But I mean, with this, it's one of those ones like, oh shit, this is now part of that universe. I mean, we already got at this point a certain horned individual making an appearance in the movie, and then on top of that, we had this around the same time. I think that came out just before. No, this was Hawkeye. Maybe it's on Fridays. Because I keep changing the days of when the shows get released, and it's very confusing. One day's a Wednesday, next day's a Thursday, next day's a Friday. Because didn't Spider-Man come out on the Thursday? No, this came out on the Friday. Because I think I told you not to watch it just in case it was linked, but it wasn't. But yeah, so obviously I'm not gonna get too much into that because it's the pilot review. So yeah, okay, I think that covers everything. It's a great start to a great show, and it's about time Hawkeye got an actual serious. He's not just a joke TV show. Anyway, okay, so obviously I'm gonna give it to a rating here. So she says I would generally give it 100 out of 100. Is that out of 10? I was gonna say you fucked up your own fuck up of a fuck up rating, because your ratings are fucked up. and you 100 out of 10. If you give it 100 out of 100, it means it's number 1. So yeah, she gives it 100 out of 10. But obviously, there is another show that has 100 out of 10 for its pilot, which obviously was Jessica Jones. And with this 100 out of 10, she says the Hawkeye pilot slots in between Jessica Jones and Agent Carter into 2nd position. Okay, interesting. I did not see this coming at all. Okay, my question is, well, to be fair, most of them are already getting there. Because yeah. I can't. You know what? What other young Avenger would you like to see get a TV show? There you go. I was gonna say what other like character that hasn't had like the starring role yet get a show, but then I realised most of them already have, or a movie in some way or form, so it kind of doesn't work. So yeah, what other young Avenger would you like to get a spotlight? Because obviously there's a fuck ton that they could do, and heck, they could even at some point lead into, because I know Kate's part of like one of the teams in the show, so they could lead into like a team or movie with all them. Okay, but that's it. Obviously, as I say, we are going to cover Hawkeye on the podcast, because obviously that's the last one we need to do. But we're saving that for the start of Christmas, start December, because, you know, it's a Christmas show. It's very Christmas themed, and it felt weird watching a Christmas show in, well, October, November. It feels weird. Obviously, we'll cover that for Christmas because festive. And obviously, when we do, I'll put the link for that in the description of this. So yeah. Obviously, next week, hopefully, she shall be back, and we'll move on to the final leg of our Marvel journey for now. Oh yeah, I forgot to say Luke Cage got knocked out of the top 10. Poor Luke Cage. Poor Luke Cage finally got his ass kicked, and then the Punisher's in that hot seat. But yeah, obviously next week, if she, as I say, hopefully she'll be back, and we shall moving on to Moon Knight, a more psychedelic type trip at times, and part of the 2022 lineup of Marvel shows. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully we shall see you next time.
If you like what you've seen, don't be afraid to throw us a little like and subscribe. That's always very appreciated over here. And, well, I'll see you on the next video.